Welcome to round 3 of the Metro Cup live here from a Whites Hill in Brisbane. Scott McAllister and Carly Banks with you in commentary for round 3 action. Very good evening to you, Carls.
Yeah, lovely to be here, Scotty. What a beautiful night for touch.
Perfect conditions. Yeah, not too cool. It's still sitting around 20 degrees here in Brisbane. This is winter in Brisbane. Can you believe it? I'm sure some of our friends down south might be a little bit more rugged up than what we are here in Brisbane tonight. Like we said, round 3, and we have the Women's Premier Division kick-starting us for tonight's action. The UQ Rebels taking up Brothers. Firstly, let's have a look at the live ladder. And coming into round 3 tonight, and we've got a top-of-the-table clash between the two teams, Brothers and UQ, coming into round 3 undefeated. What more could you ask for tonight's game? Undefeated match to see who's going to stay on top of the table.
Yeah, it should be an absolutely cracking contest here, Scotty. Really looking forward to this one.
Let's take a look at the two-team list for this evening, starting with the UQ Rebels, the defending champions, and they're led by their captain, Sammy Jo Curtis. Pretty fair lineup.
Yeah, it's a really imposing lineup. So many, Australian players in that lineup, and they've been together for a long time. And that coaching team of Renee Murphy and Alicia Thuard have really got them humming along quite nicely.
Yeah, and let's take a look at the Brothers team. Like we said, going 2-0 going into round 3, led by their coach Chris Ross, who's done a great job with Brothers over the last few years, getting themselves into a pretty competitive position, and led by their captain Kim Soo-See.
Yeah, wonderful. This Australian Women's Open captain. You couldn't ask for a better player to lead this young but experienced sort of crew around the field. They're in really, really good form, Scott, so this one's an even money bet.
Yeah, and speaking of Kim, the captain of the Brothers team, she is one of our key player matchup players for tonight, along with Rebecca Maimai. Talk about both of these players. Super impressive, both Australian Women's Open representatives.
Yeah, lucky enough to spend a bit of time coaching both these players over the years. Scott, Beck worked with her this year with the Australian Indigenous All-Stars sort of lineup, and she played for Australia this year. Just a wonderful leader, great composure, does all the little things right. She comes up with the big plays when they're required, as our star players often do, but she's fantastic. And Kimmy Soo-See, just year after year, season after season, she just brings it every single game for her team. So, both teams are blessed by the leadership that they have in their ranks.
Yeah, 3 referees for tonight's fixture will be Campbell Muir, Brett Freshwater and Lachlan Freshwater. And the match which will proceed, the women's premier match will be the Southern Storm taking on the Country Club Colts. You'll see that at about 8:10 this evening. A big welcome to everyone tuning in on KO Sports this evening in Australia, and to our New Zealand supporters over there across the ditch on Sky Sports Next. Very good evening to you as well. I hope you enjoy the Metro Cup coverage. We can see the UQ Rebels, they're making their way over to the field, not too long from getting underway. Everyone looking nice and calm and relaxed coming into this round 3 fixture. Final instructions from both teams. Coach Chris Ross over on the far side. He's been around the game for quite a while now, Chris Ross, and he's got it done. He's starting to get a bit of success on the board. He's been involved in the Brisbane program from a regional level, taking the Men's Open to a national championship final not too long ago. He's really starting to get some coaching credential against his name as well.
He absolutely is, and he's versatile, Scott. He can coach men, women, whatever it is. Chris can turn his hand to it, and he always has a really good rapport with his players. So, really good to see him doing well.
Yeah, and you touched on the coaching staff in the UQ box. Pretty experienced as well. Renee Murphy, the current Australian Women's Open assistant coach, under Swain Ravelli, who's coaching the Southern Storm women's team. And Alicia Thuard as well has been her right-hand woman for a long time. They're quite the coaching combination.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, Leash doesn't get a lot of credit for what she does, but trust me, she's a woman who knows her touch inside out and is the perfect foil there for Renee.
So the teams will make their way out onto the field. I'm looking forward to seeing how this game unfolds. Top of the table clash. Both teams going undefeated coming into round 3. And who will stay on top of the ladder at the end of this one? No doubt the first half will be important. Both teams will be looking to get a pretty strong start in this game. It'll be the UQ Rebels and Tony Rasmussen back into the team this week. Again, another very experienced player who's represented New Zealand Women's Open at the top level. He's also represented Queensland as well. And it's Sammy Jo Curtis, another Australian representative, supporting her in the midfield. Let's see how the Rebels go with their first possession. Here is Ashurst. He's looking to switch players in underneath. They eventually get across there now. Nice run into the line. Short of the 7-metre line as Rasmussen throws a nice early ball. And fifth and final touch. Good defence, though, from Brothers. So far in this set, they'll have one final touch on their opening possession of the game as they look to put the ball through the hands, and they'll get caught in the midfield. Susie comes up to make the touch.
Yeah, really nice opening set there from Uni Rebels, but the Brothers girls handled it with aplomb and are now getting out of their end quite nicely, Scotty.
Yeah, and one aspect that we saw that was really positive in the early rounds from Brothers, how they transitioned out of their end of the field and they threw the football around at ease, and they've transitioned upfield pretty nicely, getting to the 7-metre line. Not a bad response there in their first touch. Rebels now coming out of their end and on the far side of the field. As Rasmussen puts it through the hands. Ooh, close. It's going to be a penalty, though, to UQ. Players offside.
Yeah, both teams just really trying to battle in this midfield to try to get the ascendancy early, Scotty. And you know, set completions will be at a premium here. They'll be really working hard to try to do that, just to really, you know, stamp their authority early in this clash.
Beautiful little ball off the hip there from Maimai, working with Rani Hagen back into the team tonight for the Rebels, making their transition over from the Storm this season. Beautiful ball out to Murphy on the left-hand side. Did a good job to hold on to that. Touches to come as they work towards the back end of the set now. The Rebels, a sweeper comes around the back. Maimai shows it, goes herself. Little late ball at the line, and Hagen is caught in possession, but the defence still holding strong here from Brothers. Good footy from both teams to start this game.
Yeah, second good read in a row from the Brothers winger Billy Barker there. She's done an excellent job there, just nice and composed and made the right decision. And yeah, it's a really absorbing contest so far, Scott.
Brothers get the penalty now. It's really even. Both teams getting penalties as they're transitioning out of their end of the field. It's almost like a mirror image of what we've seen as both teams have their early possessions in this game. McLean plays it back to the open side as Hegedus gets him towards the 7. Nice clean play the ball. Ball out in front from Susie as they come back across, and just coming off the back of the number 16 there, Caitlin Blade.
Yeah, nice little out ball. They're really looking to shift sort of laterally down on that line, you know, even in the early counts. And yeah, interesting, that little against the grain play. That'll be something I think Brothers will go back to, seeing that there was a little bit of an opportunity then.
Hagen sends a lovely ball flat there coming to Murphy. They play on as they head over the halfway line. Only 2 effective players on the field for the Rebels as the changes now flow on nicely. Curtis gets a nice, good, clean playing the ball. As Rasmussen puts it through the hands, they've got numbers out there, and it's going to be finished off in the corner from Georgina Rackerman, opening points for the Rebels. And it was just that flow out of the box. Savage Curtis put it on a platter to get them started.
Yeah, 100%. You go right back to touch 1, and their transition was lightning. They got over the ball well. They moved it where they needed to. Great latch they came on, and just the momentum was too much for Brothers to withhold, you know, on that occasion.
So the Rebels strike early, and this top of the table clash 1-0. Brothers will be looking to respond. Schmidt plays the ball. Bartlett fencing across. Extra couple of steps from the half to get into place. Shatali Mooney Stack, who plays it now. They cross the face, and they will get caught in possession. Chance their hand a couple of times throughout that set. Nothing available for Brothers. They turn and tack now into defence and try to keep this UQ Rebels juggernaut down the end of the field. Good meters yet again. Down the sideline they come. Solid contact. Into the box they go. As the changes come on. Donovan has a look at the line. Oh! That looked awkward.
It sure
looked
did.
as worse than what it actually was. And Donovan, they're just losing her feet. Coming into the defender, everyone's okay. She's a tough little cookie, straight back up to the feet. Now Brothers come up with a mistake, their first of the game.
Yeah, Brookie Schmid would probably like to have that one back again. But a good young player. She'll learn from that one, Scotty, and I'm sure that, you know, she'll make up for it.
It's Maimai. Gets away from the first defender, and they were on the back foot. Lucky to recover. Georgia Bartlett is in a little bit of strife there defensively. Did a good job to get back and affect the touch. Asher switches in. Maimai comes around the back as well. Comes off the right foot. Nice work. Faze in the middle here. Hagen got a good ball down. Beautiful touch though. They come across. Good football from both teams. The fifth and final touch now as Hagan shows it. Mooney Stack comes up and makes the touch. And Brothers will get marched upfield. UQ Rebels not returning the ball back to the mark. As they put the ball through the hands. Look at that, great meters on the first touch. Ooh,
Yeah.
bit of contact as well.
The girls have come to play.
Oh, here we go, now Rebels.
Yeah, we've seen 2 turnovers, relatively cheap turnovers, like, a subbing infringement. They're not completing. Like, now this is really important. So if I'm in the coaching box of both teams, these next few minutes are really important to get a completion. No matter what, even if you don't score, just leave the ball down the other end of the field. So this is when it's really going to start to, to sort of dig into this war of attrition that you need to fight to be able to give yourself the ascendancy.
Hillman picks up from half, switches in Curtis around the back, skips across the face. Beautiful draw and pass. And the Rebels have gone back-to-back tries. Gee, that was a pretty slick try, that one.
Yeah, definitely. Really, really nice hands. They're noticing that Brothers are a bit man-on, so those little late switches and stuff are the things that are going to sort of pay dividends for them if they keep going. So that might be something that Coach Chris Ross might address over in the box with that. But that penalty was really costly, and these are the things that, in a clash between 2 really evenly matched teams, you don't want to be giving away those piggyback penalties too much, do you, Scotty?
The Brothers need a little something. Only down by 2, but it's all Rebels in the early stages here of this round 3 fixture. Hudson goes into half to Mooney Stack. We've got a pretty good combination in the middle here for Brothers. Just getting caught in possession. Yeah, I like the combination of Shatali and Montea Hudson. They've been pretty deadly in the early stages of the competition for Brothers.
Yeah, they've added another dimension to the Brothers' attack. And this will be an interesting call. And they're just going to go back and play it. That would have been a good turnover for Brothers. It just might have turned the momentum around a little bit, because we're starting to feel like Uni Rebels are getting on top a little bit.
And that was a good touch. That's that young lady, Shatali Mooney Stack, who we just made mention of. And makes it another touch there to shut the play down. They'll get the ball back over their own 10-metre line. It's a pretty good place to start their set.
Excellent defensive set from Brothers.
To the left-hand side they go. Parker comes off the left foot, picks up another valuable couple of metres. Oh, and again, so these little errors around the midfield, they're starting to really cause havoc for Brothers.
And that's the thing about a juggernaut like Uni Rebels. They smell blood in the water, and if they get too many sniffs, they end up snuffing you out. So it's really, really important here that Brothers stay really sort of resolute in this midfield like they've been, and just hang tough for the next couple of minutes and get a couple of set completions themselves when they get ball in hand.
Changes come on, but Murphy just has to hold the ball up.
And
this extra couple of seconds.
This is good for Brothers. Now this next set is really important. They need to complete no matter what.
They do a good job on the opening touches, just to put the ball through the hands and get over their right side of the field. This is the area where they need to clean it up. McLean plays it on the 10-metre line of the UQ Rebels through the middle, and they earn themselves a penalty. So this will help. Full set of 6 to work with here. They'll just be able to get themselves a set and potentially have a crack towards the back end of the set, or maybe they strike early. They do look to take them on as Montea Hudson will come back out to the 7-metre line. And to the captain, Kim Soo-si. He sends it back on the inside. Hudson puts it through the hands as well. To attack down the short side, but there's Rebels jerseys everywhere. Brothers replay. Back into the middle of the park. Susi plays it just shy of the 7-metre line. Comes off the left foot. That was pretty lightning there. Footwork from the skipper, and she will get the opening try. And just when you feel like, they did a great job to get those repeat in the middle of the set, but your skipper, your leader, stands up and goes, right, we're back in the game, girls.
Yeah, I love the way that Kim controlled that set of 6. She let the other players sort of have a couple of touches, get themselves set, and when she wanted the money shot with, the M2, she took that opportunity, and and there's no one who's a better finisher than Kim Susi in that situation. So yeah, she's a closer for sure.
Back into the game now, brothers.
Same play from Uni Rebels.
Anything you can do, we can do better, but the pass, unfortunately, might have been late or a smidge forward. As Hegedus tries to skip away, Ashos makes the touch. Bartlett puts it through the hands, receives it back on the inside.
Yeah, and she's a great young player, Georgia Bartlett. Coached her last year with the Redlands Div 1 team, and she's a very good ball player, and has a really nice slide dive as well, so watch for her as well.
Just space out here on the right-hand side. Murphy having to get on the skates. Again, Susie having her hands on the football. There's good ball work there on the back end of the set. You see that there was a bit of space to work with. Good crack and good defence. Good touch made from Murphy. Had to get across to make it. So Rebels now make more changes. Momo just over the halfway line.
Beautiful kicking around from Beck Momo.
Donovan holds it up, has a look.
Yeah, I thought that they might have looked for that little late switch that they did sort of earlier. I'm sure at halftime. I'm sure I can see Renee down here in front of me, so I'm pretty much betting on the fact that she's actually identifying that right now.
So again, brothers compress every set so far, getting across into their interchange area. As are the Rebels, to be fair, in possession. McLean gets it down cleanly. They go away from where all their numbers are. They're all stacked out here on the right-hand side. Play on to the call. They will earn themselves a late penalty, and probably lucky at that, because there really wasn't much doing there for brothers, and just a bit of lazy defence there from the Rebels gives brothers a full set of 6 to work with. Folds plays it. Might be her first touch of the football here. It's almost created the numbers on the left-hand side. They weren't early in the touch count, but with the space available to them, it's worth a crack.
Yeah, she's very creative, Bella Folds, and she'll always chance her arm and back herself in. She's exciting to watch, and sometimes it's rocks or diamonds with Bella, but love the way that she takes on the game and thinks about the sport.
Yeah, now Rebels have given the ball away. The call was the ball was played before the touch was initiated. It did look like there was contact in the end, but the ball was definitely down on the ground first. Great call from Campbell Muir. On-field referee gives possession back to brothers. Momentum swung back their way a little bit over the last few sets. Got the bulk of possession down the right end of the field. They just need to look to capitalise. McLean switches late, folds, holds it up. Susie tries to put it out in front, but just caught a little bit flat-footed there. Montea Hudson turns the ball back over to the Rebels. Sammy Jo Curtis on the second touch.
Yeah.
Good meters again. Been great coming out of the interchange area. Ashurst, nice work off the left foot. This time it's brothers players caught offside. Ball recovery to come across.
Great finish.
Referees are coming together. I think the touch has been claimed.
It's down. Yep.
And they do point to the spot. So they just caught short retrieving there. And the Rebels took full advantage of the offside players and get their third try of the game.
Yeah, just on that, every time that they've had a transition on their own box side, they've been able to set up a touchdown. So this is the challenge for Chris Ross and his crew to be able to address that at half time. Keep the ball away from this box side, and you're probably going to have a better chance of being able to control their momentum.
It was close before the ball down. Campbell Muir, the sideline referee, was in perfect position. Not perfect position for our cameras, Campbell. Jump over a smidge. We'll get that message down to him at half time. So 3-1 Rebels just reclaim a little bit of ascendancy in this game. Yeah, unsquare. Play the ball. So for those that might be tuning in that aren't too familiar with touch football, you need to be square facing your tride line. And that play the ball there is facing the side, so that does give possession back to the UQ Rebels. As Reed goes forward on the first. Nice little ball. As Donovan throws the head back. He's looking to try to kick away. Just took a little bit of sting out of the Rebels. And we've got the two sisters coming up against each other tonight as well, Lucia Fields and Bella Fields. I'm sure they'll come across each other at some stage. As now Hagan skips across.
Yep.
Does get caught in possession.
Yeah, I believe that whoever loses has to drive home back to the Gold Coast, so...
Might be a quiet trip for one of them.
Definitely. A draw would be interesting, halfway.
Well, exactly, yeah. Do the driver change. Bartlett now sees a little bit of space. And just drew in there UQ. They were pretty comfortable to give her the space and just come up and make the touch, acting half caught in possession. As Bartlett now comes up to make the touch. There are the two Fields girls coming up, and it's pretty calm.
The calm before the storm, Scotty,
Yeah.
don't worry.
Be interesting if one just gets a little bit too physical in the touch. We'll see what happens.
So again, we're sort of in this bit of an arm wrestle here, aren't we? And it's about these set completions again. The girls are sort of gone off task a little bit in both boxes. So it'd be, again, trying to get this up, where you need to be in the shadows of half time, because, a try here either way can break the game open.
Susie just putting the foot down and slicing in between defenders. Wow, the skipper's on tonight. What about the speed there? Again, just saw the space. Didn't even really show and go. Just straight in between flat-footed UQ defenders.
No, the older she gets, the better she gets, Kimmy Susie. And anyone who lives down in the Cleveland area will see Kimmy down at the Redlands Touchfields regularly training. She's not only, the Australian Women's Open captain, but for her to still maintain that absolute professional level of training is just, something else, and it pays dividends.
Well, she's had a hand in, scored both tries. Not only had a hand, she has scored both tries here for Brothers so far. 3-2, and reduce that margin back down to 1. Continuing to challenge the Rebels. Rasmussen plays it, come back into the middle of the field with their skipper, Sammy Jo Curtis. Steps in, Donovan goes away, no options out here down the short side.
Yeah, she wears her heart on her sleeve, doesn't she, Britt Donovan? It's just a little bit about, her backing her options and just staying nice and composed. But I love her energy. She's always willing to, have a crack and sort of back herself in. So, yeah, she's exciting to watch.
Good space again for Brothers down the left-hand side. Now Hillman comes up out of the line and just stops that flow for Brothers. They have to stop and restart again. Mooney Stack to Susie. Why wouldn't you give her early ball from half? Here she goes again, just out in front of Barker that time around. They still finish on the right side of the field.
Yeah, probably each team will get a set before half time here, Scott. So interesting to see, what they do with this possession.
Hillman puts it through the hands, as does Reed. And you can see the meters that they pick up off the back of it. Floating with the sideline. They had to hold it up that time around as Lucia comes out of the interchange area. My now skips away. Mooney Stack
Hagan
has to come back. Here she is. Hagan from half. Early ball. Beautiful ball as well. Lucia, ball in one hand. Back to My to Hagan, and they get a repeat set.
Yeah, she's a wonderful addition to this lineup, Scotty. Coming off the back of winning a Commonwealth Games youth gold medal with the Rugby Sevens girls, and she's a class act, Rani Hagan, and definitely will make a big impact in this already imposing Rebels lineup.
Here she is. Skips and draws another penalty. The Brothers will be trying to manage the clock. There's just over 15 seconds there, 15 seconds thereabouts left here to go. So they'll only have another couple of cracks here. Lucia puts it through the hands. They can't connect up. They did get the space, the numbers out there on the right-hand side. The final pass just doesn't hit the target. As the halftime hooter sounds in the background. Wow. What a great opening first 20 minutes, and it was expected, wasn't it? The two top teams coming into this fixture. Great first 20.
Yep, fantastic 20 minutes, and I'm really looking forward to this second half, Scotty.
We'll take a quick break and be back with all the second half action. Halftime score here, the UQ Rebels 3 over Brothers 2.
This grass looks smart, and it's tough enough to handle whatever you throw at it, so it stays looking smart. Tip Tough Hybrid Bermuda, the smart grass.
Welcome back to the Metro Cup. We've got a game on our hands here in the Women's Premier Division. UQ Rebels going into the halftime break with a 1-try lead, 3-2 over Brothers. And we hope you're enjoying the coverage on KO Sports and Sky Sports Next over in New Zealand. You can catch every round of the Metro Cup season live on KO Sports and Sky Sports Next. And gripping contest here in round 3. The Women's Premier, both teams undefeated going into this game. All Rebels to start with early, wasn't it, Carls? But we were just talking during the halftime break. Brothers so far through the season that we've seen, they just play for the full 40 minutes, and there was elements of that there in the first 20 where they came back to reduce the margin and go down by 1 at the break.
Yeah, Brothers are not going to go away. They just keep fighting, and they find a way to get through things. There's an extra resilience in the way that they're playing this season in that midfield, and it's an intriguing matchup because, you know, Uni Rebels have got a lot of athletes that, you know, if they get clean in that first 3, then their back end's usually, you know, pretty sort of lethal and hard to stop. The physicality that Brothers bring to the contest sort of evens it out a little bit, and yeah, it's a real ebbing and flowing of the momentum between the two sides, and it's been a cracker contest so far, and can't wait for this second half.
But cool heads from Rebels as well. While you felt that the momentum was swinging a bit, all of a sudden they just get a little bit of possession back themselves. They go down the other end and they score.
Yeah, it's wall-to-wall superstars, but I caught up with Renee Murphy and Alicia Thiward before the game, and they were saying that they've been really impressed with their 4 season debutantes this year. So Danita Smith, Kaya Hillman, Izzy Reed and Kate Hammond have come into the side, and they're doing like a really, really good job in their debut season in Women's Premier League. So it's good to see these young players emerging, not just in this team or Brothers, but throughout the whole competition in the men's and women's. We've seen a lot of names that we haven't seen in previous years getting their start in the Premier League, and it just goes to show what a great sort of competition that the Metro Cup is, and a breeding ground for future talent.
Yeah, Southern Storm and Country Club Colts to come in the men's Premier. That will be on your screens following our women's Premier match between the Rebels and Brothers. Now, the best way to stay up to date with all the Metro Cup competition information is on the Brisbane Metro Touch Facebook, Instagram and TikTok accounts, which you can find by searching Brisbane Metro Touch. Both teams will make their way out in the second 20 minutes here of this game. Ben and Pink will head out on field as well. Who just sounds in the background. 20 minutes to play here in this round 3 fixture. Can Brothers get themselves back into the game? They'd be pretty keen to score early, wouldn't they, and lock up the scoring and just put that pressure back on the Rebels.
Yeah, definitely. It's all about those sort of little momentum shifts and swings that sort of happen, and definitely being able to come up with something off this first tap would be very, very interesting, Scott.
2 tries to the captain, Kim Soo-si, in the first half. She's looking to continue to impose here in the second. There's Brittany Brown. Get herself in the half. They kick away from her now. Come back out to Paige Folk. Directing traffic. Just happy to dance around, and the Rebels defence are happy to let them do with it at the moment. Brown sends a nice ball out just off the hands there of Folk.
Yeah, nice little play there. Some questions being asked there from Brothers, but the Rebels girls handled that defensive set fairly comfortably. So let's see what the get-out set looks like. It's an away set. See what happens.
Ashurst Rasmussen now. Ashurst gets another touch. As Lucia Files comes around the back, turns it back on the inside to Curtis. Files from half. 5th and final touch here for the Rebels. It's a little switch out the back. Brothers doing a good job at the moment. They need to stay on their toes, and they get across and shut it down.
Yeah, there was that little late switch that we talked about and identified in the first half, and obviously, like, you know, Renee's given them the mandate to go out there and sort of have a look for that. But again, Brothers can pose themselves well, and yeah, handled that again with aplomb.
Eggers, good meters over the halfway line. So look to set up. Butler would get herself into half. That's a little bit of a look up. Beautiful link ball. And we said Brothers would have been keen to be the first ones to score here in the second half, and that's exactly what they've done.
Yeah, and that's the girl that we spoke about in the first half, Georgia Bartlett, the Toowoomba product, going to the line, has a really nice left to right, perfect little link ball and a really nice gap hit, you know, for Brothers to get us even here, Scotty.
And Have a look at the replay. Open space, great line run. Yeah, Bartlett put it on a plate. Scores locked up. It's 3 apiece. Read from the restart. My feeds it from half. Switching in as Donovan will play it. My open side. Nice running here as Hillman puts it across. We caught in two minds whether to send it right out to the wing there or hit the link. And it dipped in between both on that occasion. But nice running and lead up there from the Rebels. Good opening first 2 touches here for Brothers. As players offside. Susie picks up an extra couple of valuable metres. Look to come back in field. Schmidt from half had to reach for it and Brothers get the penalty.
Yeah, and that touch there was a little bit of frustration touch and a bit of respect there for the way that Brothers, exited the field in that set, and they really earned this penalty. And let's see if they can make it pay.
Schmidt plays it. Brown comes back in field. Schmidt again puts the brakes on. Solid contact again. Reed makes the touch. Look to sweep, running onto the ball strongly as well. Oh, did a great job. Just straighten up the point of attack, attracted the defence. Almost got the 3-on-2 down the left-hand side of the field. Good footy.
Yep. Very, very promising raid there. Nice little sweeper. And, they've got a lot of athletes themselves, Brothers, and that was a really promising play right there.
The changes on for the Rebels. Curtis plays it. Footwork, Hagan. Sammy Joe just looking to switch back in. Again, they start their sets in pretty good position. Saw that on a few occasions there in the first half.
Yeah, if I'm Renee, I'm not too happy with these first couple of possessions since half-time. And they've got a fortuitous break there. But yeah, I think it's about just trying to calm down and wrestle back the ascendancy here. And they've got the right people out there in Lucia Files and Sammy Joe Curtis to settle things down there for them. We
saw that in the first half a little bit for Brothers as well. They started their set in good position when they were heading over towards their box. Sometimes it throws you out a little bit when you're used to coming off your 7-metre line. All of a sudden you're in a good position and you go lateral straight away to your box and it throws your set off.
100%. Hagan out of half.
Early ball out in front. Bellafolds comes across to make the touch. Hammond plays it. Hagan again comes in this time, takes off on the right foot, puts it out in front of Lush. Might have been able to push through into the in-goal area there. Decides to go the early ball. Yeah,
I'd like to see her get a little bit more live, Scotty, rather than run from half there. She came from a standing start. She is lightning, right? But just sort of get herself live so she's a chance to dive and score as well, because Brothers held off her quite nicely and just, recompose themselves and handle that raid from Hagan quite well.
Nice little inside ball again from Susie. As Page Folk supports on the inside. Lucia holds it, takes the touch, switch out the back, Reed onto the park. Donovan kicks over the 10-metre line, 5th and final touch. Ashurst, nice
Still
ball,
there.
beautiful bat on. Nobody at home, and Murphy, no, they'll take it away. The bat on's gone forward.
Come on, let the girls play.
Let
Let
them
it go.
play, ref.
Nah, but a really, really nice idea, and just the execution just a little tiny bit off. But yeah, really great to see the skill level of the girls, Scotty.
No mistake here for Brothers. He had eyes on getting over towards the interchange area. Gives an opportunity here for the Rebels to reclaim the lead. Score still currently locked up at 3 tries apiece. Back on the inside. Still touches to work with here for UQ. Ashurst switches in. Rasmussen plays it. Away from the sweeping Reed. Donovan gets into the in-goal area, looking for support. And Tony Rasmussen gets the ball down before the cover defence comes across. And comes off the back of that error The Brothers made coming out of their end of the field, and they make them pay there, the Rebels.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just getting the feeling too, Scotty, without seeing the replays there, just there's some like lateral separation between the middles, and then the links are a little bit disconnected. So Brothers are sort of starting to go a little bit, sideways defensively, a little bit too far with those spacing. So maybe if they can sort of address that a little bit, it'll maybe combat those acting half runners sort of getting through the line like they're doing at the moment, because that's the second time that's sort of happened in the last few minutes. Rani Hagan on one occasion got through, and then we had Britt Donovan just then.
The Rebels back in front. Might have an opportunity down the left, overcommitting in the touch was happening. Beautiful ball yet again. They scrambled to get across.
Wow, great gap hit and equally good touch in defence, Scott. We're being treated to a really high quality contest here.
Hillman gives it back on the inside to Maimai. Does double duties on the first two touches. Does the vice captain. Here she is again, another touch. Influential. She's run about 10k so far in this set. They come her way. She gets another possession, throws the dummy, goes in between the defence and will score. Wow. About 4 touches throughout that set, made about 10 metres on every one, and finishes it off with a try. That is an amazing effort there from the VC.
Yeah, and that's the leadership, that's the qualities. We talked about Kimi Susi, the impact that she has for Brothers. It's the same thing with Beck Maimai, weighing in where she's needed most and always coming up with a clutch play at the appropriate time.
So everything swings back in the favour of the Rebels now. That margin back out to 2. We saw them push out to a 2. Try margin now, picked off, and Lucia
the
Bonds.
sister.
Wow. That might be spoken about in the car ride on the way home. And Lucia can pick out an intercept, and all of a sudden, 3-try swing here from the Rebels.
And that's another ice cream I'll be down, Scotty. We have a little bet, the Files twins and I. Whoever scores first always gets the ice cream. So, yeah, I'm down 2 now. My nephew Coop won the under-12 Nationals today, and I owe him 1 ice cream, and now Lucia as well. Jeez, I'll be broke.
You're racking him up.
I'll be broke at this rate.
Yeah, we must give a shout out. Congratulations to a lot of the Queensland teams up there in the schools nationals and 12s and 15s. I think Queensland won the majority of the finals. Might have gone down in the 15 girls from what I saw, but another great performance there from the young up-and-coming superstars in the Queensland schools team.
Yeah, fantastic to see all the kids, not just Queensland, New South Wales, but ACT, Northern Territory, South Australia, Tassie. Everybody's there, so fantastic work there from School Sport Australia.
Brothers here, a little bit of a jinking dive in, almost getting in between Reed and Rackerman. Send it back midfield, skipping across the face. You see switching in Barker, comes off the fingertips. Rebels the second time, so we didn't really see that too much as a tactical thing for them, obviously, going away from their box. Back foot a little bit here. Brothers taking it right to the line. Ashurst puts it through the hands. Reed, full of running. Now all of a sudden the Rebels, as they put it through, that's come out of the hands forward. Final pass, unfortunate. They're really clicking into gear now.
Yeah, and there's some serious wheels out there, aren't there, Scott, on both sides of the halfway line. These girls are really, really good athletes, and they're putting their best foot forward here. And, yeah, this is, as I said, it's a high-quality contest and really enjoying this one. And I guess now for Brothers, it is really important. If I'm Chris over there in that box, I just really want them to sort of settle down and try and get some completions. They're not out of this by any stretch of the imagination, but they really have to just work really hard, knuckle down and do the yards and get themselves back in this contest.
Reckerman just has to hold the footy up there. Curtis having to do another run forward as the changes were still making their way onto the park. Maimai. She got another trick up her sleeve. Hillman takes on the line themselves. Big touch made on the line. Had to be made. Brothers, they hold on.
Now this set here, this is a massive set for Brothers. They need to get down the other end of the field and mount some pressure. Doesn't have to be scoreboard pressure, Scotty, but they need to complete and they need to get back on level terms in this contest.
Struggling to get forward a little bit here in this set. Brothers, the changes make their way onto the field, but this is the 5th and final touch. Put the ball through the hands. Heger just gets caught in possession. Probably lucky to get away with not getting much as well.
Definitely. If it was me, I would have been pinged, Scotty. They always knew when I did that.
Yeah. Dolderman skips away. Again, just picks up his valuable meters. UQ still making changes. They get their full complement of 6 out onto the park. Lucia, an old head on young shoulders. Just took the time to take the touch out there on the left. Ball in one hand, as casual as you like. Flicks it over the top. That's a pretty good effort to try and get the ball out. As the cover defence keeps coming across.
Yeah, it's interesting. In the first half, the Rebels had a couple of players, and I was seeing Renee in front of me, and she's probably taking the words right out of my mouth here in terms of their phase plays worked for them really beautifully in the first half, and a couple of times it wasn't fifth. They could have probably played phase, so I'm betting that's exactly what she's delivering there in that little sort of message to the subs right now.
Mooney Stack earns their team another full set of 6. Good work with pretty elusive out of the acting half position. They haven't had too many opportunities down the centre of the field. Yeah, towards the back end of the second half.
Yeah, it's a big set here. They just need to be patient with the ball in hand and just, get their sequence together. Fortuitously got a penalty there. Just not pressing that pass will be important. So about now to be great to have Kimmy Susi out there. There she is, like to control things.
There she is, ball in hand. Sends it out to Brown. Back on the inside. Brown skipping across. Bella Files takes the touch, comes back out to the 7. Back to Susie. Files takes it just off the shoulder.
Strategy's probably right there in terms of sending those sweepers on early counts and stuff, but the thing that we identified around the late switches with the Brothers' defence, you could probably say the same for Uni Rebels. So they're a little bit man-on too defensively, so there might be some value in looking at those little switches there for Brothers as well.
Great meters from Ashurst. Then just gets the UQ off the front foot, and you can just see they go into another gear as soon as they get a great run like that. It's almost like there's a little bit of blood in the water, and they can smell it. Hillman takes them on. He'll switch back on the inside to Reed. Just falls apart for them on the back end of the set. Better start here for Brothers. Great meters from Taya Hudson. This is where Brothers need to continue on. Hegedus going forward over the Rebels 10-metre line. As Folk plays it. Hegedus back on the inside. Schmidt, Folk from half and just goes over the top.
Yeah, you sort of get that feeling. Those first 3 touches were fantastic from Brothers, and they just sort of held it up, slowed it up a little bit in the back end, and that's probably a bit of a thing. I think they'll look back on this game tape and probably see that, like, if they just keep the momentum going in that set the way that Uni Rebels do, they probably could, really force the issue a little bit more.
Rebels over the halfway line, but this is the 5th and final touch. My goes early ball out to Rackerman, who shows it back on the inside. Has a touch been made? No, it hasn't. Well, it's unfortunate. It looked like they were across there to make the touch. They covered defence, but again, another experienced player in the UQ Rebels team. Showing them as open representative.
Yeah,
showing her nous right there.
Yeah, she's had a fantastic couple of years, Scotty, and she's an unsung hero. Just quietly goes about what she does. The smiling assassin does a job, and always comes up with the right play at the right time. She's a great athlete and a very, very good person as well to boot.
So 7-3, they've run away with it in the second half. As we see now, a little bit of confusion, and we'll go to Brothers here, penalty. A little bit of contact there. So great response from the Rebels after Brothers scored first in the second half to level up the score, and you thought, right, they're in this game for sure here, Brothers taking it to them. But there's what's been now 4 unanswered tries here in the second half. Just showing the Rebels again. they're showing their championship qualities.
Yeah, but early days still, hey, Scotty, in the comp, and these teams will play each other a fair bit, as the Metro Cup season unfolds. So, brothers will learn a lot, from tonight, and it's on off Rani Hagan. She's such an athlete, glided around.
She does. It's a perfect description, isn't it? Just glides across the park. Elusively quick as well.
Yeah.
Reed back on the inside. Has come off Brothers' hands. Repeat set as the clock starts to wind down. About 2.5 minutes to go in this game. Like I said, Southern Storm taking on the Country Club Colts. That's in the Men's Premier Division. Coming up next, Colts had a great start to the season, going in undefeated. Storm currently sitting in third. But all games are pretty tight in the Men's Premier. Any team can knock each other off on any given night.
Absolutely, and I'm really looking forward to that contest as well, Scott.
Let's see how this one finishes off as Sammy Jo Curtis takes on the line herself. Gets a try to her name, and the 8th try of the game here for the Rebels.
Yes, she's recently been overseas on a sojourn over there, and she's come back and hasn't hurt a one bit, Sammy Jo Curtis. I wish I could look like that after after going away on holidays, but she's clicked straight back into gear, and always a great leader in this team, and such a good role model for young female players in our sport, Scotty.
See, people like us, when we go over to Europe, like Sammy Jo has done, we would be on the cheese, on the wine, on this and that. I've got no doubt she's probably running hills somewhere in France or something and training in between. But definitely jealous of some of the photos that were getting posted. My goodness. Straight back into football as soon as she landed back on our shores. Shizuku Rebels through and through is the captain. Bartlett now. Puts the ball up, working with Schmidt in the middle. They turn the ball over. This hasn't been the second half that they were hoping for.
No, but it's a good sort of leveler to know where you're at this stage of the season. Like, they started the season really, really well, and tonight's not the end of the world for Brothers. They'll take their lessons, they'll come back, and they'll be much better. And as we said, this season's got a lot of games to play out yet, Scotty. So yeah, early days.
In the scoreline at the end of the day is not what they're going to look at when they take away their key moments from this game. It'll be that first 20 minutes when they go, right, we knew that we could go with the defending premiers there for 20 minutes. We've just got to go for the full 40 now.
Absolutely, and this is a young side that's, got a lot of touch, in it. I mean, you look at the teams across the board in this competition, and most of them are filled with a lot of experienced players. Brothers are sort of working their way, into that thing. Take Kimi Susi out of that equation. These young players are doing a fantastic job for Brothers.
In front of Hillman, who sounds in the background there as Hammond juggles it behind her back, but the Rebels far too good here in the second half. They streak away, final score 8-3. But like we said, gallant performance from Brothers. A lot to take from, like we just touched on, and they're going to be better for that run, and they're going to be there when the whips are grinding at the back end of the year. Yeah,
100%, Scott. As we said, lots of touch to be played this season, and some good things to take out of it. I mean, Kim Susi, absolute outstanding performance. That we've come to expect from the Australian Women's Open captain, and Uni Rebels had a lot of stars across the board. Everybody chipped in, but Lucia Files, I think that intercept that Bella threw her pretty much broke their hearts, and it was very difficult for Brothers to recover after that point, but still a quality contest, and really looking forward to this next one too, Scott.
Yeah, stay with us. Southern Storm taking on the Country Club Colts in the Men's Premier. We're going to take a quick break and be back with more action here from the Metro Cup.
This grass looks smart, and it's tough enough to handle whatever you throw at it, so it stays looking smart. Tiff Tough Hybrid Bermuda, the smart grass.
Back to the Metro Cup, and we've got men's premier action taking place very shortly. Country Club Colts, they sit on top of the table at the moment, and we'll have a look at the ladder very shortly. They've won their 2 opening fixtures to kickstart their campaign this year. Southern Storm, a little bit of an up and down start for them. They drew with UQ Rebels, the defending premiers, 3-3 it was in that fixture, and only going down to the Gold Coast as well, who are red hot this year. You can see the ladder on screen at the moment. So Country Club 2-0, Gold Coast City in second with the 1 win and 1 loss. Storm, who are playing tonight with the 1 draw and loss. Rebels down at the bottom of the ladder at the moment. We'll have a look at the 2 team lists as well. Carly Banks is with me in commentary for this game as well. This will be a top contest between these 2 teams.
Yeah, really looking forward to this. The way that Dylan Hennessy's, come into this side, has been a bit of a sort of a revelation. It was interesting to see how he'd go with the structure that Country Club have, and he fitted seamlessly, into the way that they, are playing. And I'm loving the look of this young Southern Storm team, like Blaze Prendergast, Bailey. They're both 2 of the Australian Under 18 boys from this year, and it's a good young side, and people like James Price level it out really, really nicely. So yeah, this will be a good contest.
Southern Storm have the opening possession here to kickstart us. In the purple strip tonight, Country Club in the red and the black. Price shows back on the inside. Back into the middle. Prendergast plays it outside the 7-metre line. Richards looping ball out in front. A bit of space out there. Quinn Libben having to get on the skates to get across. Just didn't come out of the hands cleanly there. But positive play there straight away from the opening gun.
Yeah, they won't be too deterred by that because the play was right. The execution was just a little off, Scotty.
Sen picks up good metres. This is a good start here to the opening set hit for Country Club. Hennessy gets his first touch of the game. Feeds it. And on the run as Barnes puts it through. And Ken Adams turns the ball back over. Fast start here from both teams. Changes onto the park. Beaton reaches for it. Does a good job to hold on to the football. There's Ross. He plays it. Beautiful left to right out of the hands. Back on the inside to Beaton. Geez, he's done a great job to get that ball down. Perfect positioning back on the inside. And the Southern Storm, they're the first to strike.
Yeah, fantastic opening piece of play there from the Southern Storm. They stretched them both ways, but it was their transition from the sub box that really gave that. They're prepared to work in the midfield like all good Chris Loth coach teams are. So fantastic effort from those guys, and nice to see them on the board early.
White, that's good contact there from Beaton. Try scorer for the Storm. Matters is off the right foot. Strong defence in the middle from the Storm. Warden Ross doing a good job over the hands there of Dylan Hennessy. Sees the Storm come back into possession. Out the back to home, takes a little flick off the fingertips. Losing footing. This is an opportunity for the Colts to get up and strike. Price does a good job to get the Storm towards the halfway line. Veer plays it. Price shows it goes. No one's made the touch there on James Price. With a hot knife through butter. Wow, what happened there in defence? Almost sounded like maybe one of the or two of the players got called offside. Yeah, and it just stopped.
Yeah, and it was the correct decision. Zoe was in great position to call that sort of play through there, and James Price had the nous to pick up. He gave it a little look and then accelerated again and went through the space, and that's it. You play the whistle and you keep running, and red hot start here from the Sunstorm.
Yeah, back-to-back tries for the Storm. Sees them take the early lead, 2-0. Over the Colts. Hayden Moffat goes back on the inside. And brother Ryan is there to score, and all of a sudden they're straight back into the game.
Yeah, renowned for their trick plays, and come up with a really, really nice set piece there. Jaden Ambici also featured there, and really, really nice little set piece, and that'll please the Country Club coaching box no end.
So 2-1, first try on the board for the Colts. Beaton feeds it out the back. Richards just squeezing one away. No, he didn't.
Yeah. Nice pick up there from the referees on the sideline working together. We've got 3 quality referees out here too, Scotty.
Yeah, Zoe Jenrick, Campbell Muir and Zach Jenrick, 3 officials tonight. Campbell Muir going back-to-back duties. We saw him in the Women's Premier game just prior to this one. Sent him over the halfway line. Changes onto the park for the Colts. Hennessy, Glacken. Dylan now has a little look up. I think it just took a deflection.
Yep.
And it is another repeat set. The hands of the Southern Storm. Full set of 6 to work with. As Adams plays with Bartz back into the midfield. First touch here to Hennessy. Adams tries to get them across field. Right foot from Dylan. Oh, goes flat and hard in the middle. He's looking to get a nice clean play of the ball. And Bart's trying to catch it and getting it down in one motion. It's a pretty tough ball to take.
Yeah, Dill won't be happy with that pass. It was just sort of given with a bit of venom there, but that play is one of his pet plays, and he'll definitely go back to that well later on with a little bit better execution.
As Ross sends a nice ball left to right. That was Nick Home, my apologies, in the 6. You are set up. The first try for the Storm. He comes up and makes the touch now.
Yeah, Club are always very smooth with their rucking. Very traditional sort of rucking stuff, not unlike the Doyleson boys. There's a fair bit there with the Josh Glacken influence from Doylo. He's given those guys a fair bit with the way that Doyleson play, and it's very, very high percentage stuff from them, and they've been able to get themselves in really good position in most games that they are, and it keeps you in because you keep winning sets, and they just never go away. And I'm liking though, Scott, the way that Storm have started this game. They're upbeat, their energy's there, and the questions for these guys will be how will they defend these repeat sets on the line.
So Beachy goes early ball out to Dart. Looked like he might have been short of the line in terms of getting the ball down. And a look up at the referee. Referee sending back to the 7.
Yeah, Tahara Chase, really, really, really good effort there to get back out again and make that touch on Dart.
Matters now plays it, and Beachy right foot sends a rocket out and over the top. The poor old Butler. He's seeing a meteor come his way.
He needed a step ladder for that one.
Storm will restart their set. They're on their side of the field. Played on the 7-metre line. Second touch, good metres from Price yet again.
Yeah, he's been prominent early, hasn't he? His experience and his guile, and his nous for the game is just fantastic, James Price.
The ball's just drifted forward. Prendergast saw some space down the left, sent it early.
Yeah.
Beachy taps and restarts. He's with another touch on the 3rd. Adams out of the box. Libin feed it from half. Just running from Sen. There's Moffat. It's Hayden. Takes off Sen. Early release. Butler with space to work with.
Champagne footy.
How good is that?
Champagne footy again, off the back of that industrious effort that they have, in getting down the field. Their first 3 touches, and there's the momentum there. They come through and just, too good with the hands, and a fantastic team try to the Country Club combination.
You can see the reverse angle here. Moffat just picks up and go. This is great work here from David Sen as well. Just flung it out. Knew that he had a little bit of cover defence on his toes coming across. In Nathan Beaton. Now the Storm hit them straight back. Perfect response. After getting points on them down the other end, Nick Home and James Price working together to get it done.
Lovely combination there again. Those boys have honed that in the Redlands backyard for many, many years. Scotty, and again, Price's composure in terms of being able to weigh in and give this relatively inexperienced Storm team that sort of buffer is sort of fantastic. And he's a talented ball player, Nick Home. It's good to see him get his hands on the footy and get involved.
Beautiful lead-up work they had. Plays in motion, going all over the place there, the Storm. Nothing better than just seeing a short ball straight off the hip. That's exactly how they got their points and reclaim the lead, 3-2. After the Colts scoring back-to-back tries to level it up. It's a good response there from the Storm. Push back out by 1. Hennessy working with Glacken. Glacken from half, gives it to Dillon. They got the numbers out here on the left, and a great touch coming from outside in.
Yeah. In that set of 6, both wingers for the Southern Storm made 2 really good reads there. So yeah, you have a bit of confidence if you're the Southern Storm in terms of your wingers' capabilities to deal with those reads, and they really need to be on when you've got the likes of Dylan Hennessy out there calling the shots with the footy in hand.
Oh, Chase picks it up and goes from half, and they're holding off. He goes over the top out to Williams, and lucky they held on to that because Prendergast was screaming right off his hip. He went the hard way to get it done. Doesn't matter how you get there sometimes, as long as you do get the job done.
Yeah. Tahara Chase, he's one of the most improved young players in the game. Played for the New Zealand 20 men's earlier this year at the Pacific Youth Cup. I remember coaching him 2 years ago at Redlands and telling him that he needed to lose a bit of weight and do a bit of work. And to see him where he is now is it's a credit to the young man.
He absolutely took off from half there. But you can see on the replay, Prendergast on the inside. He had his hands out ready to catch the ball. Skipped straight over the top. Williams scores the try. Moffat looks for a penalty and gets it. All of a sudden, the Storm scored the first 2 tries. The Colts, they scored the next 2. Now it's the return serve from the Storm. They score the next, puts them back up by 2, 4-2 on the scoreboard. Everyone's doing it in doubles tonight. Dart holds him up. Nice touch from Richards. Dart again, just a step short of the 7. Moffat goes early.
Yes.
Beautiful ball as well. Puts it on an absolute dime.
Yeah, and that is just shelling peas for Hayden Moffat. It's one of his pet plays. Anything with, a Rooster platform or an ML platform, he is just lethal and pinpoint with that ball, and has all the time in the world. It's like watching Mark Waugh back in the day. Hayden Moffat has one of the best passes in the sport.
Nick Bergenkamp scores in the corner. 4-3. Storm still in front. Price, and then incorrect play the ball. Zoe Generick pulling that one up. It's back on the run. Hennessy on the first touch. Sen skips away. Takes him away from their interchange area. Try scorer, Bergenkamp. Doing some work again out there on the left-hand side of the field. As the changes now get into position for Country Club. Glacken plugs it up forward in the middle. Hennessy out the back to Dart. And sliding nicely. They come up and make the touch. Beaten. Ball in 2 hands. And the touch for James Price. Richards on the halfway line. There's Hone again. He comes up now. Plays it. Beautiful. Oh, it's there for Chase. Nick Hone, he's been influential ball in hand tonight. He's putting it on an absolute platter, and that was half a chance, probably more than half a chance there for the Storm.
Definitely. Both these teams are working really hard to try and gain the ascendancy in that middle third, Scott, and we're seeing end-to-end good quality footy, and yeah, very difficult to pick a winner at this point in the game because they're both doing all the little things right. They're covering off on their 1%ers, their set completions, and that's a great little fly play. Yep, it's textbook from Country Club on that occasion.
The trend continues as the Colts go back to back, and all of a sudden we're locked back up here. 4 tries apiece. As we take a look at the replay, Moffat again throwing the final pass, and Quinlivan streaks down the sideline for his first try of the game.
Yeah, nice little fly play. Just went through the hands, and technically both these teams are very skilled. They're both very well coached, so we expect that yeah, it's going to continue to be a high quality contest, high scoring, Scotty.
Stacked on the left-hand side here, the Storm. Price looks to come back infield. Deacon comes out to Richards. Oh, just losing his footing. Comes off the right foot and almost slips in between. But screaming for the ball.
Yeah, he's quite deceptive, Bailey Deacon, Australian co-captain of the Australian 18 boys this year. He looks like an accountant, but he runs very well. A bit like Adam Pride a little bit,
yeah.
So Pridey won't mind me saying that.
There's Matters. He's going forward. Now Dart goes early ball as well. Just juggled there from Quinn Livin. Still played on the 7. First touch as they put it through the hands. Comes through the middle. Go back out to the right-hand side.
They've been really good when they've brought the ball to their own box there, and these back three have had plenty of punch in them on the back end. So Coach Chris Sloth would be really, really happy with the way that the boys are recycling the footy, in the last couple of touches.
Oh, ball from Beaton's just come out of the hands forward. Head space on the left.
Oh, that was close to a Falcon, Zoe. Nearly got her.
Almost in the way. Butler, that's good contact. On the first touch, wide looking for offside players. Zach says all good. Peachy now grits the teeth to get them going forward again. Ryan Moffat looks to pop
that
out.
fly was out the back, and I think Ryan Moffat did the wrong thing there, but that's okay. They've managed to recover it and continue on.
Seton again trying to fling it out. They do earn the repeat set.
Yeah, that fly play is still definitely there for Country Club. Interesting that that hasn't been plugged yet by the Storm, so I wonder if they'll go back to the well with that.
So potentially looking for phase, Barts just holds it up. New Mbechi wasn't in position from half, and they still have touches to come in this set of 6. Here's Barts yet again, working with Ryan Moffat. Nice little pop-out ball around the back. Had the space as well. Butler coming across. The touch has been made. Yes, it has. Williams been great in defence. We've seen him score a try as well. He's everywhere tonight for the Storm. Comes up again and makes the touch.
And here comes Dylan. Theme the Jaws music, mate.
Looping ball at the top, and there it is. Jawsy always gets him at the end of the day. He's lurking around under your boat, and then all of a sudden, bang, he strikes.
It's predictable, but boy, it's good. It's good. His pet counties play, bang, rip. I mean, again, we talk about pinpoint passing. We talked earlier about Hayden Moffat. I mean, you've got 2 great passing options with him and Hennessy in this, in this crew, and there wasn't a lot that Southern Storm could do about that one.
Yeah, beautiful angle there. You can see on the replay. For the first time in the game, the Colts are in front, 5-4 on the scoreboard. 9 tries here in the first 20 minutes. Another try to Quinn Livin as they try to sweep in between there with the defenders. Deacon comes back and plays it on the 7. Prendergast away from the short side. Richards was going for the short hole yet again. Have a look at this, open pastures. Bart, he's going the full distance. He's winding back the clock here. Tim Bart's the captain, looks for support, finds it. Do they get across? They do.
What a touch.
Huge scramble from the Storm.
Bailey Prendergast, take a bow. That was quite special.
Can they hold on? The Southern Storm, full set here to defend on their line.
I mean, Blaze.
Oh, they turned it over. Great job. Well, they're lucky to get away with that one. What about Timmy Barts turning back the clock?
Thought he was going to go all the way.
Sometimes you can get a little bit of energy out of that, although I'm sure
100%.
that the last defenders that would have gone off are probably sucking in the big ones now. They've got to continue on. They'll be looking to tighten the screws up defensively here a little bit. As Nick Home looks like he got a little accidental one. Oh, that was loose out of half. And Beachy out in front to Ryan Moffat. Oh, that is about half a kilometre over the mark, unfortunately. Those big long strides didn't help him there, Ryan Moffat. So this might be the opportunity for the Storm. Back into the first half, 2.5 to go. Beaton does a good job to punch out of the interchange area where there wasn't much doing for them.
Yeah, they've got the right combination on here to cause a bit of havoc here with Price, Blaze Prendergast and Beaton, who's been prominent early.
Ross plays it. Prendergast trying to get away, and Beachy read it like a book. And he's taken a deflection there off one of the Country Club players. A full set of 6 to work with. The Storm looking to strike back and level up the scoring. Back in the midfield, Ross will take the touch. Price switches in Prendergast. They get good contact on him. They've got numbers out here. Oh, having to get across Moffat. It's Ryan making the touch.
Yeah.
Took it himself there, Blaze.
Definitely. Quality attack there from Blaze, and equally good touch from Ryan Moffat.
Around the back, they go away from Price. It's a one-on-one out there on the left-hand side, Verencamp. It's that big frame to come across.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing, the Storm feed the sweepers early on that and maybe come back with a sweeper quarterback at these guys because, when you're not live and you're picking up and you're going out a half, a bit easier for the defence to make a read and get themselves where they need to be. So I'd love to see them get a bit more live in the second half when we get to the second half. There.
Hennessy pops Bart's out the back, looping ball over the top, pop back on the inside. Oh, it's Harlem Globetrotters stuff out here. The Colts, they're turning it on.
Oh, they are. It's good footy, isn't it, Scotty? We're being treated to an absolute festival here tonight. It's at the Metro Cup, and and we're only in the first half, mate. So it should be good.
Yet again, they went a little sneaky play down the sideline. Almost came off for them. It was a great opening first couple of touches there for the Storm. It was a great hit back.
Yeah, I was wondering when it was going to make its appearance because a couple of times they've threatened down that side, and I'm sure that's really good identification there from Coach Chris Loth. So I expect we'll see it again. 15
seconds. You might have been able to hear the call, and there was even less on the clock. So they were calling, screaming from the box. They got to go. They got to go. They couldn't get it done. What an electric first 20 minutes we've had. Tries galore from both teams. The Colts go into the halftime break up by 1. Wow, what's the second 20 going to unfold for us?
Oh, I think it'll be an absolutely cracking contest again here. I think both coaching boxes will make a couple of modifications to a few things that went on there, but I expect more of the same. Lots of intensity, lots of speed, and lots of ball playing.
The undefeated Country Club Colts have the slight advantage in this round 3 fixture. They go into the halftime break up by 1 try. They currently lead 5 tries to 4.
This grass looks smart, and it's tough enough to handle whatever you throw at it. So it stays looking smart. Tip Tough Hybrid Bermuda, the smart grass.
Back to the Metro Cup. The second half not too far from getting underway here in the Men's Premier Division. The Country Club Colts currently leading 5 tries to 4 over the Southern Storm here in this round 3 match. And it was an amazing first 20 minutes between the two teams. Storm came out, Colts hit them back. Storm came back. It's been a game of tennis between the two teams.
It has, and we were speaking in the break about this young Storm side, missing a lot of experienced names, without Corey Russell and Adam Pride at the moment and those sorts of players. But it's given these young guys an opportunity to step up and stake their claim, not just for a spot in the side, but actually some responsibility and some ball playing and stuff like that. So I've been really impressed with the way that the young players have rallied around the likes of James Price and being able to sort of, really give it back to Country Club, who are, I think, the form team of the comp. Early days, obviously, but they've been really impressive the first couple of weeks, and it's a machine, the Country Club team. Their rucking is smooth, they're technically correct, they do all the little things right, and they're miserly defensively, they do all the little things that give you every opportunity. So Storm have got some rough edges in there because of the young and the inexperienced players, but they are punching well above their weight, and this is a really evenly poised contest, Scott.
Yeah, absolutely, and you can see every match live or every round live from the Metro Cup season on KO Sports here in Australia and Sky Sports Next in New Zealand. Round 4 next week in the Men's Premier. That'll be kicking off about 7:15 local time here in Australia. The UQ Rebels will be taking on the Country Club Colts, who we're seeing here yet again, and the Southern Storm will be taking on the Rebels in our second match. That will be in the Women's Premier Division. So round 4 action next week. But a big second half here between these two teams. Storm down by 1 on the scoreboard. There's going to be a lot more to unfold here in the second 20 minutes. And they'll throw the kitchen sink at the Country Club Colts, that's for sure.
Yeah, this first 5 minutes is massively important for the Storm because Colts are seasoned professionals and they know how to really dig in and, put their foot on your throat. And the first 5 minutes, all the great teams, in the sport, the first 5 minutes, after half-time is a real chance to sort of, stamp your authority. So the Storm have to go with Colts here early or, the game could get away from them.
Here we go, second half. Colts with the tap off. He's Hayden Moffat. He's across field. Sense they're building to something here from the tap off. But the players in motion, just almost running in to each other, and they're in straight into the defence. That one didn't quite work out for the Colts.
I love the trick plays. The Moffat brothers, fantastic.
Here's Hayden. He's going to earn himself. No. Did come off the hands there, Ryan Wood. Not played out is the call. They'll have to go back to the mark to restart. There's Wood. Let's play it on the 7-metre line. Prendergast on the first touch. Beaten loose. He just looked to pump it. It didn't come out, and I think they might have gotten away with this one. Lucky to maintain possession, the Southern Storm. He was beaten cleanly going forward this time as he gets the ball down on the deck. Price follows suit. Ross switches in Deacon. Nice ball back to Ross. They're rolling down the right end of the field nicely here. Price comes off the right foot looking for offside players. Glacken stoic in defence.
Yeah. He had a case, James Price, there a little bit, I think. But, well handled in the end by Joshy Glacken.
Richards takes off from half. Goes a short ball to Deacon. Caught on the 6th touch. Colts now come out of the end of the field. But Coolhead gets the ball down on the deck. And Moffat on the halfway line. Collision off the ball as he was making his way into the interchange area. Adams has to reach for it. Ball out the back numbers, and Moffat there just slaps the hands.
Yeah, they ran a fly and they were looking for the passive on the way back. I would think they were looking for that middle to just drag him off centre a little bit further to open that space up for Dylan to play out the back there a little bit. So they'll continue with that play and they'll look for it again, but I would dare say that middle's going to drag him a fair way, more off centre to sort of open it up a little bit further for him.
Tara Chase out of the interchange area. Wood does the same, sends it to DeVere. Hone goes back in field. Final touch for them now. Chase. Nice ball out in front of Hone. Comes off the right foot and the touch is made from Hennessy. Had to go full stretch to make it. Goes up and makes the touch.
Yeah, and Sen earns his team that penalty. He's just a jack in the box. He's a real veteran of the sport, but he does all the little things. He never gets a lot of raps, Scotty, but he's one of those players that would go to the war for you. So yeah, he's invaluable to this Country Club outfit.
There's Goes away. Tries to get on the outside shoulder of Devere Matters. Just has to put the brakes on. It's Hayden Moffat. He's directing traffic out here. You can see him pointing, directing. Oh, Matters just squeezing the ball away. I think Moffat was getting into position to get into half. He didn't need that ball thrown.
Yeah, a little bit of youthful exuberance there from Matters, but he's a good young player. Played his part really well in the Pacific Youth Cup in the mixed for Australia earlier this year, and yeah, a player with great talent.
Beaton dancing across field, plays it now. Sets a nice platform for Price, who rips long. Livens up in the line. Oh, he's tangled it up in his own feet there, Tommy Q.
He won't be happy with that one, Tommy.
They look to attack early here, the Storm. That's the first touch. Full set to work with here, the Southern Storm. Open side, Beaton comes off the right foot. Touch from Hayden Moffat. Sweep around the back, Price diving in at the line and clutching at thin air. It was Jordan Dart. And the Southern Storm, they're the first to strike here in the second half, and they've levelled up the scores.
Yeah, really liked that set from the Southern Storm. Nice composure. They moved it one way. Price heavily involved. Blaze Prendergast scored the try, but it was a really nice piece of play. They went with the out ball. They brought it back the other way. They really stretched the Country Club defence laterally and, you know, spied the hole and made them pay.
So the Storm strike first here in second as MBG off the fingertips, had to reach for it. Hennessy plays it out the back, but throws it. And nice work from Bailey coming in. Had to get the hands on it.
Yeah, again, the winger's striking that, so if I'm in that Country Club box, I'm trying to say get a little bit deeper, because if the winger's able to, you know, pick you off, you're probably not tight enough, so they're probably a little bit lateral on that passive play. And there's the sweeper quarterback and the number. Yep.
And puts it on a plate for Arthur Butler here in the left-hand side of the field. The tennis match continues. Colts back in front, 6-5.
Yeah, it's always one of the toughest plays in the sport to defend, Scotty. This against the grain, little quarterback bang, and it's very. If your spacings are out even a little bit, it's a really tough one to try to get to. So yeah, great work from Country Club. Really thoughtful use of the ball, and yeah, really important now for Storm to get back here and yeah, keep firing salvos.
Jimmy Devere working with Prendergast in the midfield.
I wouldn't mind to see them doing a sweeper quarterback themselves, and there's a little ML platforming out the back.
Oh, did a good job to pluck that one out of the sky and just ran out of room in the end.
Nearly did.
Huge reach.
And that's unfortunate there.
So penalty given away. Just to piggyback for the Colts.
Yeah, Storm need to be really careful. They have to be as miserly as the way that Country Club are, or they're going to make them pay. That's nice physicality. I like that touch coming in there. That's really good, and that's the experience of Beaton and a few of these other guys. They've just got to, yep, just maintain the rage. Don't get silly about it, but basically keep meeting this sort of Country Club drive. Yep, and there you go. There's a turnover for that, and he can take that 2 touches back to Beaton, coming up with a really, really important touch.
So we've got to feed off the back end of this now, the Storm. As Ross, Wood and Chase make their way out onto the field. Price, they go away from him now. Ross getting into the in-goal area, just couldn't quite get the support and plays into position there on the back of it.
And Benny Ross is a very underrated young player. You know, he again is another one of those most improved young players in the sport, and really good to see him out here holding his own in this men's Premier League division.
We're up and about here defensively. The Colts struggling to get going forward. They're in towards the back end of their set. This is the 5th and final touch, and they play it in their own end, but Moffat just picks it up and goes. Butler down the sideline.
Oh.
Great cover defence coming across Chase.
Yeah, and Chase had to make that one because he turned his back originally when Moffat picked up and went. So he owed his team that one. So good effort from Tuara to not sort of give up on that play.
Well, the game's really starting to open up yet again. Now the Storm, in their first couple of touches, have done a good job to get themselves downfield. Last touch, Prendergast left foot, short, Deacon skipping, back inside to Prendergast. They'll just have to come back a couple of steps to play the ball where it hit the deck. Barts tucks it under the wing on the first. This is Moffat on the second. Blacken gritting the teeth. Better this time around as they cross the halfway line, popping out. And another incorrect play of the ball.
And this enthusiasm that the Storm are mustering on those first 3 touches, Scotty, is really making Country Club work to where they would normally be, over halfway on 3. So this is really good resilience from the Storm defence in that midfield battle.
Forward goes to Price. Takes the touch. They look to set up at the back end of their set. Price plays it, Beaton feeds it to Ward. Oh, link ball punching through and diving across the line. Dave Richards scores for the Storm, and we're back at 6 tries apiece.
Yeah, this is a fantastic piece of play. It was really, really well worked. Little Rooster hit the link ball. Fantastic piece of play there from the Storm, and all their little set plays and their work at training, it's all paying dividends, and Coach Chris Loth would be really, really happy with the attack, with the quality of the attack that his team's putting out here tonight.
I want to hear about this for a long time. It was Jimmy DeVere that actually scored. He'll send me text after this game, no doubt. I've robbed him, but you got your credit there, Jimmy, and he comes up and makes a big touch. Good boy. Take the first hit up here. One of their experienced players back in the Storm lineup.
A great guy, and he hasn't had the best luck with his injuries over the years, Scotty. So it's nice to see him out here, playing good quality footy.
Penalty given around the middle of the park from the Storm. And captain in the Colts, Tim Bart's in the box. He's screaming, "You got to be better. Got to be better than that." Be giving penalties away in that position of the field. Not now, particularly when the Storm have got their tails up.
Yeah, Deacon really wanted the ball in his hands right then.
Now, takes off, left foot, can't skip away. Good touch there, young Caleb Matters. Matters will get himself into half. Right, nice run. Beachy over the half. Another one, so it's probably 3 or 4 sets over the last, 5 or so minutes. And turn the ball over.
And it's this competitiveness in the midfield that I pointed out before, Scotty, that Country Club are really sort of struggling to come to terms with. The first 2 weeks, they've pretty had an open thoroughfare against their first 2 opponents. And now the Storm are really tightening the screws in that midfield battle and making them work. And hopefully that will bring, the best out in Country Club in this midfield battle as the game wears on. We're about 9.5 minutes to go.
Hone. Beautiful ball coming in.
Oh,
Quinlivan muscling up and putting a shot on. It's accidental. Jimmy DeVere just takes his time. And he got winded off the shot there on Tommy Q. He'll take a breather over in the interchange area. Ward makes his way onto the field. Play restarts. Prendergast screams up out of the line. This leaves themselves a little bit exposed on their right-hand side in defence. Recovered nicely. Nice little pop ball out the back from Barts. Sen comes out of the box. Moffat to Moffat, and Moffat just absolutely takes off and dives in the corner. Well, for a young man that is, 6'2", 6'3", probably 80, 90 kilos, absolutely light on his feet, and he just took off here as soon as he got the ball in his hands.
Yeah, now this just shows the determination experience of Country Club. On the third touch, I noted that they, the third touch was on the 10 metres, like 10 metres short of the halfway line. They really worked hard, those back 3 touches, ran the fly, and, never gave up on that set. So they're, digging in like champions do, and they're saying to the Storm, you're not going to have the midfield battle, all your own way now. So, yeah, this is a really intriguing contest, Scotty, and, yeah, I'm really looking forward to what's going to happen next. Here we go, and there's a try to the Storm.
Oh, they're not going anywhere, the Southern Storm. The score's locked back up. Let's take a look at the replay. Just open up for them in the middle. Little show and go, and just caught flat-footed on the outside. A little miscommunication in defence there from the Colts.
Yeah, just got their policy a little bit wrong there in their spacings. Just no need. He wasn't live. Yeah, he'd want that one back and try and stay a little bit more man on there. Just recognising when someone's a half and someone's live, very important. And the passive, they've got it right now.
Running out of room in the end. That went the early release. As soon as the ball hit his hands, got rid of it. Nice work here from Williams, skipping away.
Yeah.
Hayden.
Right play again from Dylan Hennessy. It's just you know, I still think that runner's got to be a little bit more tucked in, and that would make that draw and pass so much easier.
Deacon comes onto the ball. Richards, early release. Prendergast takes him on, and Moffat having to have a play at the footy.
We're seeing all the big guns coming out and coming up with counters, haven't they? Like, it'll be, you know, a really, really strong attacking play, and then, you know, a stellar defensive effort to really stop the play. So yeah, it's just great quality touch here tonight, Scott.
Yeah. Richards taking on the line.
Very close.
For a second there, I thought Zoe was going to point to the spot.
Yeah, she's in perfect position there and made a wonderful call there.
Prendergast skips, steps back infield, right foot, takes him on himself.
Yep.
And Y makes a big touch.
Very, very good touch.
Sahara Chase, Dave Richards camped out here. They come back midfield. Deacon goes back to Chase. Richards has a look up, feeds it out the back. It's 1-on-1 out there on the far side of the field. Job done by Butler.
Yeah, still not most dangerous when the likes of Prendergast and Deacon get themselves live. They come off of counties, they do whatever because they're a threat to score and they're good enough with their feet. Again, like to see them more live than just picking up from half and, you know, and trying to rip.
Chase makes a good touch on Matters. Adams, he's always good coming out of the interchange area.
Yeah, works hard. Another one of the unsung heroes, Kenny Adams, and he's been in this side for a long time now, and he's invaluable to the Country Club crew.
It's a beautiful ball from Bartz, left to right, on the money. And Butler, you know, he's lightning quick.
Yeah.
Give him half a centimetre and he'll just get on the outside of you. But it's a beautiful ball from Timmy Bartz.
Yeah, Timmy Bartz, Australian mixed open captain this year, made his debut for Australia, and the captain just proved why. He's always a great leader, and his words in the box the last few minutes, he's been really revving up the boys, and there he goes and leads by example and puts one on the, you know, on the scoreboard for his team.
Under 5 minutes to go, and the Colts are back in front. Last time we saw the Colts go down the other end, the Storm hit them straight back. Throws the dummy. Oh, might have just got a little bit in each other's way there. Like Wood and Benny Ross both going. Quinlivan puts him on, goes down the sideline. Has he still got the wheels in the legs to go the whole way?
Does.
Yes, he does. Tommy Q. He is still lightning quick. Don't worry about that.
He's an absolute ornament to the game, Tommy Quinlivan. He's been doing this for over a decade at this level, and he always makes a contribution. He's a game changer. You know, he was the first of the great wingers, you know, who could actually be match winners, and he's doing it, you know, 10 years on from when he started it. So fantastic effort from Tommy Quinlivan.
Is that the try? It just breaks the difference between these two teams. Sudden up by 2 for the Colts. The Storm have managed to hang with them, and they continue to do so.
That man, Nick Home, again, just ball playing, you know, at the line, off that ML platform that's been so good to them. Chris Loth team, traditional platform for him, and Blaze Prendergast, he just rocketed through that link hole. And yeah, the Storm aren't done with by any stretch of the imagination, Scott.
No, still plenty of time on the clock as well. So we take a look at the replay here. Prendergast straight through, no. Putting it on the platter. So marching back down to 1. Colts still in front. Blacken just tried the 7. Hennessy plays it out the back. They've got the numbers.
Got it this time.
Feeds it. Oh, they're going to say forward.
Dylan won't be happy. That's the 4th time, and he's been so close each time. So yeah, he won't put the cue in the rack until he nails one of those. That's the champion that Dylan Hennessy is.
What a punch downfield now, the Storm. 2.5 to go, down by 1. It's Beaton does a good job to get the ball down cleanly.
Oh, the sneaky.
Get through, just got the ball away. And full contact was made on the touch. Deacon on the final. Price can't pick it up cleanly. is a big defensive set here for the Storm.
Absolutely huge.
Big attacking set for the Colts as well. This might be where they ice the game. But Coolhead sends it back midfield. Sen and Hayden Moffat make their way onto the field for Country Club. And here is Hayden, who plays it open side, off the fingertips down. Hennessy still holds onto the ball. He'll step in, skips, ball in one hand. Good recovery in defence.
Yeah, wonderful piece of play there. Bailey Deacon defensively take a bow. Really hard to stop Dylan Hennessy from that range, and fantastic effort there from Bailey.
Good meters in the opening first couple of touches here for the Southern Storm. Richards gets good contact. Veer feeds it to Ward. There's now Richards. Ooh,
was there a hand there? There
yeah,
was.
Takes a little deflection. Here we go. Just over a minute.
And now we see the big guns have been brought on. Good coaching from Chris Loth. He's got Price and he's got Prendergast out there now. And, this is the right combination of players to get it done.
And here goes James. Price takes him on and they look short of the line. Yes, they were. The Storm, with just under 60 seconds to go, have levelled up the scores yet again.
Yeah, on cue, and as we said, really, really nice piece of play. And it's very difficult to stop James Price on a sweeper at from that range.
So the Colts, they have the final possession in this game. So we'll take a look at Price going across to level up the scores at 9 tries each. Dart has the ball, he'll play it on the 7. Hennessy, ball out in front, Matters. Plays it outside the 7, just slowed them up a little bit. Beautiful ball from Hennessy. Well, there's no other person you'd want in that type of situation to have the ball in your hands than Dylan Hennessy. And pushes him up by 1, and the clock might just get away from the Storm.
Yeah, clutch play from Dylan Hennessy. We've seen it time and time again on touch fields all around the world, and he's done it again here tonight.
Richards feeds it out to Deacon. They can't get it done. And it is a Dylan Hennessy ball just before the full-time hooter that gets the job done from the Country Club Colts, but they had to work literally to the last seconds of that game to take the victory.
Yeah, what I like about this game, mate, it's high scoring. Often when there's a high scoring contest, people will say that attack's been the premium and defence has been ignored. That hasn't been the case. It's been high quality. There were 19 quality touchdowns there and a heap more saved with desperate defensive efforts from both teams. These two teams put on a show tonight and gave the rest of the competition something to think about.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw 2 quality games tonight here in round 3 of the Metro Cup. Like we said, round 4 action coming up next week. You've got the Men's Premier Division kicking off from 7:15 local time. UK Rebels taking on the Colts, who again got the victory 3-0, currently sitting on the top of the table. And the Women's Premier match that will follow. Southern Storm taking on the UQ Rebels. We hope you enjoyed the coverage on KO Sports and Sky Sports Next over in New Zealand. But until next week, on behalf of Carly Banks and myself, Scott McAllister, it's bye for now.
This grass looks smart, and it's tough enough to handle whatever you throw at it, so it stays looking smart. Tif Tough Hybrid Bermuda, the smart grass.